Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of Brew Talk with Mr. Beer. My name is Robert Lewis. I will be your host once again for today's show. As always, with every episode, we appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and watch our videos. Hopefully you're enjoying them after 103 episodes, still trying to keep fresh content that's somewhat interesting that you guys are hopefully enjoying, like I said. So if you want to reference our notes for this video or any of our past videos, you can find those on our blog page at mrbeer.com/blog. Also got a bunch of interesting blog posts in there, recipes. We just released a new post on how to make non-alcoholic beer if that's something that you are interested in. So make sure to go check that out, mrbeer.com/blog, or just go to mrbeer.com and in the menu click on the blog button and it will take you right there. And the blog is a search feature, so if you got some questions, type it in there, search away. Hopefully you'll find the answers to your questions. So I got a quick episode for you guys today. This is kind of one step in our instructions that we really don't explain. Basically, the question is, I can't remember where I saw someone ask it recently, why you should trim away the excess material on your hop sack. We always kind of tell you to do that in all of our recipe instructions, but we never tell you why to do that. So I thought that would be a good topic to cover, just so you know we're not just making things up for the heck of it. If you ever brewed one of our recipes, you're going to be adding hops into a hop sack or some bag of grains into a hop sack. You'll notice that hop sacks are fairly big, and add just an ounce of hops or 4 ounces of grains leaves a lot of extra room in that hop sack. And a lot of our recipes vary in the amount of grains and hops that they're using. So some use a lot where you will need a lot of that space. Some don't use that many where you won't use that space. So that's why, the amount of excess you have varies, but we always tell you to trim that away. There's two main reasons for that. One reason is that if you had a lot of extra material just kind of lying around while you're brewing, it could be susceptible to harboring an infection. So let's say if you're doing a hot boil, and this will only be, I guess, relevant towards hot boils, because if you're doing if you're steeping some grains, you discard that hop sack when you're done, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you're doing a hot boil, for example, and you have this long material, a foot long, hanging off the edge of that, and it kind of hangs over the top of your pot, just kind of sitting there, and is not submersed in the boiling liquid, I mean, there's a slight chance something could float on there that could harbor some type of bacteria that could infect your beer. So you think you get something on the end of that wasn't in the boil, then you mix in your wort, then you dump all that into your fermenter. It's possible that the heat would kill it off anyways from what you're mixing it in, but just in case, dump that into your fermenter and then you get an infected batch. So it's a way to kind of help mitigate all that. When it comes to sanitizing things and making sure that you won't get infections in your beer, we always take all the precautions necessary to prevent that. So everything we think of in our instructions is to help prevent you from getting infections in your beer, because I think that's one of the main reasons that discourages a lot of home brewers, and one of the things that happens most often, which it's just a bad result in your beer. So we always over sanitize and are over cautious on that versus being under cautious on that. And I think that it's definitely a safe thing to be. Another reason we tell you to do this is because it will help out during bottling. So with most of our recipes, unless we tell you otherwise, once you have hops in your boil, you're going to dump that into your fermenter, and it's going to ferment, or it's going to sit in there for the duration of fermentation. The only time you will take those out is if we tell you to remove the hop sack in your instructions. If we do not tell you that, dump them on in there. That's a question we get quite often as well. But you think you got this long piece of cloth floating around in there, then when you go to bottle your beer, you open your spigot, that beer is going to come out. And if you've ever brewed with a lot of hops or multiple hop sacks, sometimes that can get clogged. And now if you're going to have a long piece of cloth that gets stuck in there, it's going to make your bottling process kind of a pain in the butt. So you're going to try to fish that thing out of there. Make sure you use sanitizing tongs if you do, or you're just going to have to kind of try to slow the bottle process down and to try to make sure that you're not really getting that sucked into the spigot opening. But it's very difficult to try and prevent that. So that's one of the reasons why we just say cut it off at the beginning. You don't got to worry about it when it comes to bottling time. So cutting off the excess material on your hop sack will reduce your risk for infection, which is already very small, but we'd like to reduce it more. And it will also remove the risk of headaches during bottling time, because that is definitely not fun, not something you want to do. It's going to wrap it up. Like I said, it was kind of a shorter episode today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was somewhat interesting. If you did, please give it a like, comment, or share it on Facebook if you can. We really appreciate that. If you want to watch all of our videos or follow us on all social media platforms, make sure you're following us at Mr.Beer. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Pretty easy to follow if you want to reference all of our old videos. YouTube's the best place to go. If you're posting any brewing pics, especially on Instagram, please make sure to tag us in them. We love sharing those pics in our story. We shared a bunch the other day. You guys did a really cool job with some brewing pics, some reels. That was really cool to see, so I really enjoyed watching those. That was really fun. Also on social media, if you want to learn more about Mr. Beer and join fellow Mr. Beer brewers, join our Facebook group, Mr. Beer's Brewing Society. You can find this just by searching Mr. Beer's Brewing Society on Facebook. We ask that you answer the 3 questions that we offer up when you request to join. If you don't answer all 3, we won't let you in. If you're a new brewer, just say you're a new brewer in there, and then we'll let you in if you want to learn something about Mr. Beer. We let people in batches, so we don't let people in every single day. It's usually once or twice a week. Usually a ton of people come in at one time, so it's really exciting. We sometimes run some special deals in there, so it's definitely a place that you want to join. It's going to wrap it up for this week. We might have, or keep an eye on your inboxes on Friday. We might have some limited release recipes coming out, so a little teaser for that one. So we will talk to you guys next week. Cheers.